What's going on? Today is, what is it, October the 15th, 2024. I'm GB, that's Brian, that's Coop. This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. We back at it. What's going on, my guys?
What's going on?
Man, we up to it again, man. It's just it's time to get to it, talk sports. I think good all our football teams have had stuff happen. We got college games to talk about. We got bets to pay up on.
Man,
Baseball's occurring. If you're into baseball, go ahead and check your local listings. TV Guide or Reader's Digest or wherever they got that at. I would just like that. I said that on purpose for Brian because we always are saying, you know how I know you're old? Because I know what a Reader's Digest is.
man.
So yeah, let's get to it, man. So let's start with college. Y'all had some business y'all want to take care of. So go ahead and just make that happen.
Me and Brian went on Ohio State and Oregon. He had Oregon. I had Ohio State. Ohio State had their chances and they blew it. Oregon won the game. So I must take a shot with my, I don't know if y'all can see my 49er shot glass that says JMF Coop on it. So JMF Coop. Yep. Everybody knows who this is. So I'm gonna go ahead.
MF stands for making fun, right?
There you go. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
So
Brian, you won. I took the shot. Go ahead. While I recover, you go and tell us about this game.
Hey, this was a great game, right? I mean, it was only 32-31 in the end. These were two teams that looked like they belonged to the top five, squaring off against each other, which is kind of nice because a lot of the other top build games have been kind of busts. I mean, we'll talk about Texas, Oklahoma soon, but there haven't been a lot of just battles where even though one team lost and one team won, you could tell these are two teams that deserve to be in the playoffs, and that if you played this game 5 times in a neutral location, you wouldn't be able to tell what the results are going to be. So, that made it interesting. It was probably one of the more interesting games from a competitive standpoint this season. And there wasn't a big mystery to it. I like the old Pac-12 teams. I thought Oregon's offense has something that can always be counted on to be strong, and ultimately they were able to get over on them, and they statistically did pretty well. I mean, 341 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a respectable offensive line, and they only threw it for 34 times. We'll talk about some other people who had to throw it 40 and 45 times to get to that number, and to get to 100 yards less than that number when we talk about Colorado. But Jason, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, it was a good game. To me, it was a toss-up, 50-50. Watching the game, anybody could win, Ohio State or Oregon. It seemed to me whoever was the home team had the advantage. It was Oregon. I think if this game was in Ohio State would have won the game. But look, congrats to Oregon. I'm not really a big Ohio State or Oregon fan, but it was a good game. These quarterbacks, I know a lot of hype on these quarterbacks. They're okay, and they played pretty well. But I think Dylan Gabriel at the end played better. Will Howard's pretty much no excuse on how he played at the very end of the game, not really knowing I guess the clock was running at a very crucial time and not hurrying up to huddle the ball or hike the ball or whatever. They kept mentioning how much he was a veteran quarterback. He sure didn't play like it towards the end of the game. So
the lack of awareness there.
Yeah, definitely. He pulled that Dak Prescott thing. Y'all Cowboy fans know about that. But yeah, congratulations to Oregon, for winning the game. Good game. I would love to see it again, to be perfectly honest with you. This loss is not going to hurt Ohio State because it's 12 teams that gets in. So some 1 and 2 loss teams are going to get in. So I would definitely, a lot of times people want to see rematches for stuff like Michigan, Ohio State, or Alabama, Georgia. I don't ever want to see those, but I would want to see this one happen again. So congratulations.
Ohio State only fell to 4th with a loss, right? I mean, it's 1-point loss, final minutes of the game.
Yep.
Usually I want to see teams dive a little bit more, but I understand why they did what they did on this one.
Yep.
What else is happening in college ball?
Oh man, no, but you want to talk about Texas, Oklahoma, Brian?
I mean, yeah, that was a curb stomp right there.
Okay.
What's interesting about it though is it's not the game that we expected. So it was 34-3, but what everyone expected was Quinn Ewers to come back and just kind of light it up again and to get his bearings. And he only threw for 199 yards. Now he was efficient. It was 20 out of 29. But he was short, only 6.9 yards per throw. So he wasn't didn't really get it going. Only had 1 touchdown, one interception. But the team as a whole figured out how to win. I mean, they rushed for 177 yards. and overall just kind of looked like the better team from beginning to end, which is a little concerning when you are Oklahoma and you have the ability to play a quarterback coming off of a long injury, just getting his bearings in a really important game that was at home. They got Texas at home, but they at no point in time looked up for it. And their quarterback, what is his name, Michael Hawkins Jr., was he just didn't look up to the challenge. So Texas maintained and did what they needed to do to maintain the number one spot. I do think that if they were playing either Oregon or Ohio State with Quinn Ewers and this past weekend, they would have lost either of those teams. And so hopefully he gets his bearings back quickly, or they're going to have to start. They're going to, best job is the backup quarterback if you're going to be on the field, because everyone likes the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
When your backup quarterback is Archie Manning, who's been all world for the time that he was starter, it's going to get real rough if he can't get his bearings back. This was also good that he was on the road, right? He was going to get booed no matter what. If he goes into Texas Stadium and has that same result, there might be some whispers.
Yeah, I didn't think this game was going to be close, so I didn't bother watching it. When a 17-point spread in a rivalry like this, there's clearly one team that's just better than the other, and Texas proved it. I'm just looking at the score, and then I looked at the stats later. When you only score a field goal in college football, that's pretty bad. So I'm not a big Oklahoma fan anyway. I'm not really a big Texas fan anyway, but I don't like Oklahoma. So congratulations for Texas. They stayed number one. Good victory for them, but I didn't watch a single second of this game, to be perfectly honest with you. To move on, I don't know if you noticed this, Brian, but Iowa scored more than 20 points. They usually don't score more than 17. Their over-unders are usually, 34, 35. They put up 40 against Washington.
I remember you saying that was one of the ones you took the under on, right? So
No. I took the under in Colorado State, San Jose State. I took that one, under 55 now. Yeah, no, Iowa, yeah. But you know what I was surprised about, Brian? After watching that Cal-Miami game, well, most of it, and then watching the rest on the road, knowing how they lost that game, they played at Pittsburgh the following week on the East Coast, and that over/under was 59 points, which seems like a lot for a team that just lost like that, and you have to travel. And of course, Cal only scored 15, Pittsburgh only scored 17. That game went way under. But is there any other game? I mentioned that because
SC Penn State was a better game than I think most would have thought it was going to be, given that SC had fallen off the map.
Yep.
They had the win all the way and just kind of gave it up, and then obviously overtime they lost. But I just, there's something about this USC team that tells me that they're going to consistently get better, and they just haven't figured out the Big Ten team. I think it's nothing but a long shot and a prayer at this point for them to get into the playoffs or do anything else. But so hopefully they'll get ready for next season. But it was a good game, and SC looked good in that first half and looked like they were efficient. I mean, they scored real quickly, and you thought that this might actually be their moment. They might have actually gotten to the point where they figured it all out, and they sputtered in the second half. Usually, they've been sputtering in the first. Sputtering in the first half and then coming back in the second. This was a little bit the opposite. So, not much else to say there.
Yeah, a lot of money was on USC this game. And then the main angle I kept hearing was the East Coast team was playing West narrative. And I didn't think that was really a big deal because the game was early enough where I didn't think it would affect Penn State. And I know I text you guys that I bet Penn State -3. And the reason why is because USC's defensive line hasn't been playing well. Got gashed by Michigan for 290 yards. They got gashed by Minnesota for 193 yards and each rushing, both teams. And each team scored 3 rushing touchdowns. So I felt that Penn State will be able to run the ball effectively against USC. And then you see the game. USC pretty much sold out to stop the run. They was willing to give up the pass. And Penn State running backs, they only had, 82 yards rushing on 26 carries. But Penn State had 391 yards passing. Now, the Penn State quarterback, he did throw 3 interceptions, and USC still couldn't win. So that's kind of concerning a little bit. I'm with you, Brian. The first half, USC, they ran the ball. They generated offense. But in the second half, including overtime, they didn't score anything in overtime. They only scored 10 points the entire second half and overtime. And I'm interested to see how USC plays next week because they have to go to Maryland. Maryland's not a good team. USC's only – they should. They're only a 7-point underdog. I mean, a 7-point favorite right now at Maryland. USC's much better than Maryland. But the fact that it's only 7 is it's kind of eye popping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was noticing your Miami boys is number 6.
They are moving up.
rankings.
Yeah, they're moving
That's
up.
a fake 6 if I've seen one.
It's not that
Yeah.
fake. It
They
shouldn't be
6-0.
6, but
They got
they are
what?
not the 6th best team in the country. I will admit that.
They got the 6th most points in the country.
Yeah,
they've also played the 8th worst teams in the country. No, I mean not the worst, but they haven't played anybody.
Hey,
and they don't have to. I mean, they're going to get into the playoffs, but Jason, I don't know who they're going to play in the playoffs. I'm taking the other team.
Hey, and that's not a bad pick, but going into the Oregon-Ohio State game, both of them ain't never played anybody either. So, I mean, I'm just saying Texas, Penn State, they ain't playing nobody.
That they were there. So, anyways.
But yeah, I mean, Miami, I mean, they got pretty much not a cakewalk through the ACC, but they have an easy road, let's say. Let's see if they blow it. See if they blow it.
All right. Anything else? Any other games or games you're looking forward to this week?
College, any games?
This week.
Yeah, go ahead. You got one?
Let me bring it up real quick.
Okay, and let us know a bet too. That you would take too.
Yeah, give me your Brian's best bet.
We got two ranked games on Friday. Oregon versus Purdue.
Yeah.
Oregon's going to curb stomp them.
Yeah, I agree.
The only question is, really the spread is so high that you almost have to be like, oh no, just because at some point in time you get the 4 stringers in.
Right.
The spread is Oregon minus 27.5.
Damn.
BYU is going against Oklahoma State the same day, and the spread there is BYU minus 9.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, those are decent but ranked games. I don't think that's important. That important. I have one for you. Miami's only favored by 4.5 against Louisville.
Mm-hmm. And I would take Louisville plus the 4.5 if I was betting that game. Miami has been living a little dangerously the last few weeks. Okay.
Like I said, they ain't the 6th best team in the country.
Sort of like the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been living dangerously too, week by week. So, I mean, eventually it catches up with you. This could be the game that it catches up. I don't think Louisville is a great team, but playing Louisville at home, Miami needs to be up for it. They have to be up for it early and not, rely on heroics, late in the game to pull things out. So I think this is going to be a close game. And I think it's probably going to be a 1 to 3 point game, to be honest.
I'm going to say, it's just got to be close. Yep.
Do you think Miami can pull it out?
Yeah. I think Miami can win. Miami's more talented than Louisville, but just because you have the most talent, going on the road in college is different. Anybody doesn't know, go play NCAA football. Go play on the road. You will see the crowd noise affects people who are 17, 18, and 19 years old. These aren't NFL players. These are college players. So, I'm looking forward to the game on Saturday. We have Alabama and Tennessee.
I was going to say, how about 7th ranked Alabama versus 11th ranked Tennessee? Alabama favored by 3 points.
On the road, I'm taking Tennessee. In this. Nothing against Alabama. But I just think Tennessee, I think this game means more to Tennessee. I think this is a different Tennessee team, and I think it's a different Alabama team. But even though both teams are different, I think the advantage is Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins this game outright. And I think they win by at least 6 points, to be perfectly honest with you. What about you?
I'm going to go with Alabama. I wouldn't bet the house or really anything on it, but Alabama does know how to play in the spotlight, and there will be a spotlight because it's one of the few ranked games. I think it's the highest of the ranked games this week. There's only one other one, Michigan, Illinois.
Georgia, Texas.
Georgia, Texas, but anyways, I like Alabama. I think they'll get up for it. I don't like the team, but I like them in this game.
So you want to take a shot on this one?
Which one?
This one, Alabama, Tennessee.
I think we'll see where we end up on Texas, Georgia, because that would be a much more fun. That's 1 and 2 top 5 ranked teams.
Well, I know you like Texas because your boy Steve Sarkisian, they do have a good team. Texas is only favored by 3.5 or 4 now, 4 over Georgia. I just don't think Georgia is the same Georgia team that we've seen the last few years. I'm taking Texas in this one, and plus, not only do I don't like Georgia because they remind me a lot of Alabama, I just don't think they're that good this year. They've been having, they've been playing close games against teams that are just not really that good. And Texas has been handling business. The only thing that scares me though is Steve Sarkisian's coaching because he has a way of blowing games, but I think they're just too talented to blow this game. So I'm taking Texas.
This is a hard game for me. I mean, I think, and I've said most of the season that Texas is by far the most talented team in the country and deserving of number one.
Yep.
But Quinn Ewers cannot have the game that he had last week against Georgia and expect to win. He's going to have to be efficient. He's going to have to get the ball up the field, and if he does not, Georgia will win outright. And I haven't seen it yet, so I guess I'll go with you on the Texas side because I've been on the Texas bandwagon all season long. But it will not surprise me at all, and you will know very, very soon if Quinn Ewers is not right and he's not ready. There's very likely to be an upset, and I does not mean that I don't think Texas will get right. Quinn Ewers won't get right for the playoffs and everything else, which they of course will be in still. But this could be the setback game given where things are with the team and the quarterback.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah, I did get a chance to watch that Kansas State-Colorado game, and the running back for K-State was just running all over Colorado. It's always good to see Colorado lose when you got all those people like Kevin Durant on the side and some other rapper up, don't know the name and don't know his music, and all these other people. Just it was another NBA player over there. I think, Russell Westbrook. So you should have lost when you got Russell Westbrook on your sideline. But yeah, he was at the game as well. And I didn't know Russell Westbrook played for the Denver Nuggets. Didn't know that.
Yeah, sure does.
What do you mean? He got traded there. Yeah, we talked about it.
We did?
We talked about it. We were both talking about how we're happy because it guarantees Denver's not winning.
Denver's definitely. Yeah, they're definitely not winning the title now. Yeah, they got him playing. Yeah, so it was cool. It was good.
Back to this. All right. Any last thoughts on these college games?
I'm good.
No.
All right. So let's.
But Brian, give a pick. I'm sorry, give a pick. Just anything.
For this week's games?
Yeah, if it's your college, yeah.
All right.
I'll go first since I already have mine.
Yeah, go for it.
I've hit about maybe 5 straight since we've been doing this. I'm going with I just placed a bet earlier today. I think I'm going I already placed a bet on it. James Madison. Playing Georgia Southern. I took the under 59 points in this game. James Madison has been scoring a lot of points, but Georgia Southern plays a little bit slower than most teams. So they will slow them down, and that total will be under 59 points. So that's what I am playing. Brian.
Peerless one pick.
I'm looking at all these. There's not a whole lot to fall in love with. So I'm just going to pick with my heart and take Louisville to beat Miami.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
All good.
He's best bet. Dang.
All right.
Bet against Coop. Got it. All right, cool. Damn. So to the league, man, let's do it. Starting with Thursday night on the 10th, the 49ers beat the Seahawks in Seattle to tie it up at 3-3 with records. What'd you think about the game, Coop?
Yeah. So this game was pretty much what I was saying what the 49ers should do at the beginning of the season. And that's what you call it. Let Brock Purdy just lead the team, just go as far as he takes it, because when he has his contract next year, we're going to not, probably be strong in certain areas. So he's going to have to carry the team anyway. That's the problem the Cowboys are having. They play Dak so much money, he has to carry the team. He can't do it. So this is what he's doing. We pretty much won because of Brock Purdy. Now, the 49ers have had double-digit leads in 5 of the last 6 games. But, because of defense, special teams, they have a way of blowing games. So I actually made one of my very rare bets on the 49ers past Thursday. I took them in the first half, -2.5, knowing that they blow leads in the second. They covered the first half line pretty easy. They get a lot of hype, Brian, Seattle and San Francisco, like it's a rivalry, but it's really not. Russell Wilson was 17-4 against the Niners. And since Geno Smith has been the quarterback, he's 0-5 against the Niners. It doesn't matter who's defense coordinator. He's just not good against 49ers. So, and plus they lost to the Giants last week in Daniel Jones, which is kind of close to inexcusable. People kind of forget about that. So when people took Seattle, I was like, I don't know about that one. But like I said, this game was all about Purdy. He's been carrying the 49ers pretty much all season. Should have had every team in the NFC West has a negative point differential except the 49ers. And I understand, the 49ers have a top 5 offense. The rushing offense is I think it's number 2. Passing offense, I think, is number 3. Purdy leads the league in NFL yards per attempt. People talk about, oh, he gets a lot of yak yards. He's not this year. He has the lowest percentage of yak yards in the league, so you can't use that as an excuse. He's not doing nothing without McCaffrey. That's a garbage narrative too. He's passing the ball like crazy this year, playing well. Kittle's banged up. People act like Debo is Jerry Rice. Dude can't run routes, but I don't say, yeah, Debo and Kittle and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, man, whatever. He got one wide receiver. His name is Brandon Ayuk, and he's still not right. But this, I don't know. But just as far as how the season goes, I'm just worried about the next game against Kansas City, to be perfectly honest with you, which is why I don't have much to say about this game. It's just Seattle. We always beat them. I'm really looking forward to talking about next week's game, but it was another business as usual victory for the 49ers, and they beat Seattle ho-hum. We're 3-3 in first place in the NFC West, but still got a long way to go, long season. Hope we play better. That's all. I ain't got really much to say.
Wait a minute. You started off with talking about how Brock Purdy's the man of the hour because he beat the Seattle Seahawks, who were 28th in passing defense.
No.
And then you go on and say it's just a ho-hum win. I don't know which way to go on that one, but
I'll tell you. But you go first. Now
I know you give him all the money for beating the 28th pass defense soundly.
Go ahead.
That's what he's supposed to do.
You picked
Deshaun
Seattle
Watson
last
might
week.
be able to get 200 yards against that.
But you picked Seattle last week. You picked Seattle. The team that lost to the Giants. You picked them.
Oh, yeah.
You have faith in that 28th pass defense.
I picked him.
Yeah, you had faith. But go ahead.
You picked Ohio State, too. We know how that worked out for you. But Brock Purdy,
Ohio State.
I'm going to keep saying it. He's a fraud. He knows how to run up stats against horrible. He played the 28th worst defense in the league. Runs a bunch of has a good game. No knocking his stats. And now he's the best player in the year.
Fraud.
That's like Miami, being 6-0.
Really?
And being
does the quarterback in Miami lead the NFL in several advanced metrics like Brock Purdy did last year?
Hold on, Coop.
I
got George Kittle. Jimmy G had George Kittle.
Hold on.
Man, come on. Come on, man. He got Debo, dude. And what you know how your statement is so hypocritical? It's because Steve Young had the best receiver in the NFL history established.
Steve Young.
John
Good
Taylor,
or bad? How can it be hypocritical? I never said anything on the other side of it.
He had a 1,000-yard receiver in John Taylor, a Pro Bowl tight end in Brent Jones. Let me finish. A running back who
wait a minute. No, because you're telling me that I'm hypocritical, but I never said anything ever about Steve Young.
Good running back, he said he's great.
So start at the beginning with, I want to tell you about the comparison Steve Young to Brock Purdy, which I have never done.
A running back who
had 1,500.
A running back who had 1,500 yards
I don't
rushing in Ricky
care.
Waters.
The 49ers are not good right now, man.
The top 5 offensive line and DBs who made the Pro Bowl with Deion Sanders, and you sitting there telling me Brock Purdy's only good because of the people he played with. You don't say that about Steve Young?
But wait a minute. Did we have a podcast? Jason, now let me talk. Did we have any conversation about Steve Young and that team?
Yeah, you say Steve Young is great. You always talk about you said Brock Purdy's only good.
Glenn, jump in here. When I ever said anything about Steve Young, good, bad, or otherwise?
Okay, let me rephrase this. Do you say that Brock Purdy's only good because of players he played with last year?
Wait a minute. We're talking about what you just said, which is that I'm hypocritical because I think Steve Young is great.
Either way.
No. You cannot say that, dude. I've never said anything about Steve Young, good, bad, or otherwise.
No. You're hypocritical because you said that Brock Purdy is only good because of the players that he plays with.
I don't think he ever said he was good.
No. But you said right. He didn't say he's good, but he's only been successful. He's only been successful because of the players he plays with.
Okay, now I'll give you that.
I was playing the 28th pass defense. Apparently that's a winning strategy for him too.
So your idea is you give anybody Kittle, they're going to be good. That's pretty much what you're saying.
No, I think if you
give anybody Ayuk, they're going to be good.
McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk.
Really?
Right now
I've seen better teams.
I think it's a hell of a lot easier.
I've seen,
but you know what? It's still difficult for him because they're only 3-3, Jason.
They blew leads. So what? Brock Purdy leads every quarterback in NFL history in points per game.
You like him, I don't. You're never going to convince me, and you're not right.
I'm not trying to convince you.
Wait,
I'm not trying to convince you.
In the league.
To call him a fraud and he leads all NFL quarterbacks in points per game is preposterous.
When you can say that I'm being hypocritical is when I say that, oh no, I was wrong, he was good. You
gotta say
on.
he's good. He
Hold on,
leads
so-
all quarterbacks in NFL history in points per game.
You will
That
get rid of him in
includes
2
Mahomes.
years, and then you'll say, I didn't say he was great. I just said he was a truck.
2 years. Yeah, okay.
Oh, this guy's funny. Oh,
We
this
ain't getting
guy's
rid
funny.
of him
Hold
2
on.
years.
Hold on.
Okay.
So, all right. So let me
You'll
ask
be
you.
another quarterback before we will be. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Go ahead and
it's
try to
obvious.
get
We
Penix.
will.
Let me
Go
ask you
try to
this.
get Penix.
We
Okay.
will.
Hey, chill out, bro. Stay away from our quarterback. B, let me ask you this. What would Brock Purdy have to do for you to think he's good?
Win. I mean, look. First of all,
Win
the
what?
Hold on,
Raiders-
Coop. Hold on,
Your
Coop. Hold on, Coop.
quarterbacks don't win,
Jason,
Lamar.
I'm allowed-
Coop.
you want me to
Hold on,
answer the
Coop.
question, or
Hold
you don't
on,
want me to
Coop.
answer?
Okay, go ahead.
Question, bro.
Answer. Go
They're
ahead.
3-3.
Okay.
They just had a very successful game against the 28th pass defense in the league.
Okay.
Congratulations to them.
Okay.
But I'm not impressed in isolated wins when they also have losses against the Vikings, the Rams, and the Cardinals. Which of those teams do you respect? And you're going to tell me that his losses against them are not important, but his wins against the Patriots, who are freaking a dumpster fire, the Jets, who have been a dumpster fire and continue to be a dumpster fire, and the 28th best pass defense, which is your only 3 wins of the season, makes him somehow great. Running up great stats against crappy teams does not impress most people. That it impresses you is perfectly fine. But I'm not going to sit there and say he's not a fraud until he beats teams that have actually win this week.
Okay, and you're impressed by Lamar Jackson, who does
Depends
absolutely
on
nothing.
the year, the season, and
He
the
Yeah,
game.
I
doesn't.
say
He does
he-
absolutely
yeah.
nothing.
That's arguable.
Who has more?
He's-
Who has more playoff wins, Brock Purdy or
Who's got
Lamar
more
Jackson?
MVPs?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, MVPs.
Hold on,
I
hold
don't
on,
care
hold
about
on.
MVPs.
We're
Team
gonna.
game.
Who
Anyways.
wins playoff games?
Wait, hold on.
Thank you. You're
we're-
impressed by Lamar, who's
I've
done
already
Wait a
absolutely
minute. Wait a minute.
nothing in this league.
beating
We're
the Seahawks.
He's
the
done
Patriots,
nothing. He
and
lost to the
beating the
Raiders.
Seahawks, the Patriots, and the Jets.
He
In
lost to the
that-
Raiders.
Hey, hold on. All right, hold on. All right, you're both muted. Let me get a second out here. This is around the horn. All right. All right, so we'll get into that. Yeah, let's see what else happens because we only got so much time here. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know about the.
Oh no, the fans enjoy it.
Well, this is the same conversation. So Dave and I have been talking about this exact same thing. But yeah, beating the Jets, the Patriots, and the Seahawks is no.
I didn't.
How about beating the
was,
Cowboys last year in Green Bay and Detroit? How about beating them?
I thought he played all right. I like where he goes with the ball. He's all right. I can't say he's weak.
How about those teams they beat last year in the playoffs? How about beating the Eagles?
Are we talking about last year? We're talking about this year.
Your boy Jalen Hurts. How about him?
Wait, are we talking about last year or this year? You said he's the best quarterback this year.
We're carrying
statistically and all this.
We're down to 49ers.
I say the best.
We're down to 49ers, just like the Super Bowl is. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
All right. So next game, the perfect segue. Lamar and the Ravens play the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels played pretty solid. They hung close.
Very solid. It
was a pretty good game. Very close game. I think Jaden.
I think you had the Commanders in that one last.
Actually, we both had Baltimore. Actually.
Okay, I had Baltimore.
We both had Baltimore. I said that, but this is a step up in competition for Washington. They're not beating Baltimore. Baltimore did what they were supposed to do. Baltimore is averaging over 200 yards rushing per game, which you probably would expect having Lamar and Derrick Henry on the team.
They kind of have a good running back.
Washington's defense is nothing to write home about. Everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels. That's cool.
Yeah, they're the worst in the league, right?
You're talking about, oh man, the Niners ain't playing nobody. Washington's combined record of teams they beat is 6-14, so you can go rail on them. As you start talking about Washington,
they got a better record than y'all still. But carry on with the.
I also picked Washington to go to the playoffs, though.
Yeah, they're on their way. They're definitely on their way
because they're scheduled.
Jaden Daniels is not only just a rookie of the year candidate, but he's also been talked of in MVP circles. I'm not saying he is.
He got to keep it up.
He's talked about in that circle.
Yeah, he got to keep it up. He's playing good, man. It's been fun to watch, and Kingsbury made the right choice going over there for sure.
Oh hell yeah.
Next game, I wanted to get your thoughts. I don't care about those.
No, we gotta talk about the Raiders, man, because they got a trade that just happened.
I know. I'm coming there. I was just looking at the other games.
Also good,
bro. I've done this before. I didn't say Brock Purdy was bad, bro. Don't come at me. I didn't say he was bad.
No, ain't nothing like that. No. I got a game we gotta talk about. I got a game we gotta talk about because this was my biggest bet of the season. I gotta talk about it, and I was happy.
Let's talk about it.
The Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. This was my biggest bet. It was my NFL game of the month on Peerless One Sports, easily. And it was kind of hard for me to make it because it was kind of like I was betting on Jared Goff, but I kind of wasn't betting on Jared Goff.
What bet did you take?
Oh, Detroit Lions -3 points against Dallas.
Oh gosh.
It was only 3-point spread, right? So I'll explain.
Can they multiply in increments of 3 that they won by?
That's what I'm saying. I'll explain my bet. So the Cowboys win last week. I've heard a lot of people talk about how it was a gritty win. It was a good win, going to Pittsburgh and leaving Pittsburgh with a win. But in reality, Dak threw 2 interceptions. He lost a fumble, and the Steelers had a blocked field goal and still lost. So last week really wasn't about the Cowboys' grit. It was about how inept Justin Fields in that offense was to only score 17 points with all those extra possessions. That's what that game was about. The Cowboys shouldn't have got a bump up because of that game, and I feel they did undeservedly. Now, the Cowboys can't run the ball, and I've always said if Dak doesn't have a run game, he's cooked. Detroit has the 3rd best defensive line in football. They're very good. The Lions have the best offensive line in football. Huh?
Hope Aiden Hutchinson's.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But the Lions have the best offensive line in football. They are very good, and they've moved to be a running team. I said that a few weeks ago, where the Cowboys have the 29th best defensive line. So it's a bad run defense playing against David Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs. That's a nightmare. And Detroit has more offensive weapons than the Cowboys. This was an easy game to bet. And also I saw that Jared Goff is 38-18, 68% against the spread when he's playing indoors. And Dak is 2-7 his last 9 games, 22% against the spread when not playing teams from the NFC East. So this blowout I expected. It was only 3 points. I couldn't be more happy to see it happen.
How'd you feel betting on Jared Goff? You were betting against the Cowboys, so did that make it better? Like, how'd that feel?
Well, see, that's why I say I wasn't really betting on Jared Goff. I was really betting on what he has around him. Because when you bet, you just can't look at you got to look at everything.
No, don't, Brian. Don't do it. Just give your take on the game. I already know I was going to go because I heard it too.
Yeah. So, I bet, yeah. So, yeah, I bet on the team. It was a mismatch in the mismatch in the trenches between offensive lines and defensive lines. And Detroit is just a better team. The Cowboys, what good teams do they beat? They don't beat the Niners. They don't beat Green Bay. They don't beat Detroit. They wouldn't beat Minnesota.
Are pretty weak.
They don't beat anybody. And losing Aiden Hutchinson is going to hurt, which is why they probably should call the Raiders and offer 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. That's what I would do if I was Detroit. That's what I would do. But yeah, I was happy that this game ended the way it did.
Now that.
But yeah, B, what you think about this game? Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I love watching the Dallas Cowboys get pants. So yeah, this was. I don't think I expected it to be this much of a blowout. I expected them to win handily and comfortably, but this was an absolute whooping. By halftime, the entire crowd, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it, but they started blurring out the score at the bottom of of Jerry's big TV because it was so overwhelmingly lopsided. They didn't want anyone to see what was going on. So, they absolutely, completely gave up in this game. They proved that they are, I don't care if they are, I know they're 3-3 and they could still get back and mathematically not out of the playoffs. They are done. We saw who they are. We saw where their heart is. They are absolute toast. On the other side, Detroit looked great. I think that when you're in a game like this, though, it's easy to kind of make the stats look a little bit better because everything's just working. Montgomery was gashing them. Gibbs was gashing them.
Trick plays worked. Good. Yeah.
Hendon Hooker was 1 for 2 for 19 yards on him and 10 yards a throw. So that it's really unfortunate that Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. Look, I don't like Detroit because we're in the same division, and as I said before, I think they're the better team talent-wise and kind of situationally, and all those types of things. And I do recognize that Aiden Hutchinson being hurt helps the chances for the Vikings to sneak away with the win this week. I'm not saying that they will. But it's just unfortunate because you want to see the best teams play with their full cadre of players and see where the chips fall. Unfortunately, in football, that doesn't happen very often, and it's usually the team that can adjust to the big injuries. But if you look at Aiden Hutchinson's individual stats and compare them to the rest of the team, Aiden Hutchinson wins at a 5 out of 6 major stats, and that is a really big deal, including pressure on the quarterback.
They have no depth either, Brian, behind them. They have no depth.
No, but
Minnesota's coming off a bye.
But I do think today the Jets gave permission to, or maybe it was yesterday, but gave permission to Riddick to seek a trade. Yeah. And if I'm the Detroit Lions, I would say, look, what can we do to get you in here for the rest of the season? And
I don't think
then
Detroit
let
be
you
the
be a
only
free
thing.
agent and go test the market.
Yeah. I think the 49ers should place a call too, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they will.
I mean,
I think
I
they
don't
will.
know how they got the money to do it, but yeah.
Look at them. They got the most cap space.
Out.
They got the most cap space in the NFL.
They love
Dang, they're wizards over there.
They love linemen too. All right, so okay, so that makes sense. So I think the Reddit call is actually a good one because he's available clearly, and you know, you can make a bid for him and get him so that the Jets can get him out of there. So kind of sliding to us, speaking to the, you know, Raiders, Steelers, and obviously Jets are in there. First talking about the game, then we'll get to the trade. Coop, what I was finding out now, one, I'm glad we do this show on Tuesdays and not Sunday nights. If we were to do it Sunday night, I was about to be super hater. I was salty at the refs. I was salty at everything. Now, our team's not good. Having Davante and, you know, like a lot of our other, we have a lot of injuries. Everybody's got injuries. I'll give you that. But for a team like us that needs those guys' production to, you know, kind of try and claw out of the cellar, having major players out now, Christian Wilkins gone, Malcolm Kuntz gone, Marcus Epps starting safety gone, Zamir White starting running back gone. It just goes down the line. We're not a team that's strong enough to have this many major injuries on both sides of the ball. So that's killing. Additionally, why I say I'd be super hating, referees were calling just always like third down every time, some kind of magical play. You got to watch it again to see like, okay, I guess some of these were, you know, these are solid calls, but it always feels a little interesting when it's the Raiders, it's third down, you get off and it's a roughing the passer call because he, you know, was trying to roll off, but he didn't roll off enough and he laid on the quarterback, first down. They were giving Justin Fields hella possessions. And where I'm saying, Coop, is all I need is for my team to play any quarterback, and I'm going to sound like Coop. Justin Fields is terrible. The boy cannot throw. God bless him and his family. I'm so happy he has money. Please take care of yourself, stay healthy, do all of that. If people asking why Russell Wilson is starting quarterback, it's because he can throw a football. That is why. I watched Justin Fields for one of the first times in a full game. Yes, they won. They beat us handily. I'm not at all to say that. Their defense is very good.
Still only got 145 yards.
Watt is amazing. I watched him. The reason he didn't throw picks is because, like someone said, he was skipping passes. They'd have been interceptions. The boy cannot throw. He ran all over us. Give you that. Fantastic. People on our side are saying they need to fire Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, etc. I see why the Bears didn't do anything last year or the years before. Fields, very athletic. God bless him again. We saw him in the combine. Great. He could not throw a football. I'm
like that.
Happy to be big hater. I'm just saying, I watched the game and I was like, this
it
is
ain't
ridiculous.
hating if it's the truth, man. You can't call everything hating. Sometimes it's just the truth.
I know what I'm hating because I'm clowning. So, the boy was terrible. Now, Mike Tomlin, a fantastic coach. This is what he does. He's gonna find a way to win with whoever you give him. And I gotta give nothing but the utmost respect to the Steelers organization. The Raiders, we are just not there. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, I think Russell Wilson is starting more because of hurt feelings, and they got him, and he needs to play. I think the team's best option to win, to be perfectly honest, Matt sounds stupid, but I think it's Justin Fields. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Russell Wilson made a living
as fast as
he made a living off those off-schedule plays, being able to run around and do stuff. He can't do that anymore. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields can make plays like Russell Wilson did, but at least he can move. I don't think Russell Wilson can move like that. And I think that's the detriment of him not being a good quarterback anymore. That's why I'm saying that.
If you can block for a second and they can actually throw a football, you don't have to run all over the place.
That's true,
so
but neither quarterback is a pocket passer. That's just my take. I think Justin Fields is their best option, but we'll see when Russell. Justin Fields, even though he's not going to be starting, he's going to be starting eventually again this year. Eventually.
I watched the Broncos last year. They're in division. Russ didn't look terrible in or out the pocket. He wasn't.
His numbers last year were actually on par with Mahomes. And if you look like the blind number,
he's not. He ain't Johnny Unitas, but he was not terrible, and he can throw a football. Coop. I think that's important.
He can't throw a football. He can still throw it. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He can still throw a football.
We haven't seen him do it in a while, but I think he can too.
I don't care if I've never seen it.
The one thing that popped out to me was just look. Brock Bowers led the Raiders in receptions with 9. Number 2 was Alexander Madison. Number 3 was was a cadre of people at 3. But 9 and 5 receptions, 14 of the receptions of the 27 receptions were a tight end and a running back. You've got to have people to throw the ball to in order to be able to make bigger plays.
Davante's out, and I forgot Jacoby Myers, who would be number 1, was also hurt. So now you have DJ Turner. You
DJ
have
Turner,
Trey
Alex
Tucker,
Bachman, Harrison Bryant. It's
Wilkerson. I like these guys, right? But these are guys that are trying to make their name and build up. They're not.
They're 2 and 3 wide receivers, not number 1 type wide receivers.
Right. May get there, but they're trying to build their name. So yeah, absolutely. Cool. What'd you think?
Well, before I get to the trade, the only thing I can really say is, Glenn, I don't know if you feel the same way, but the Raiders showed how they felt about, like, I think Minshew is better than O'Connell. I've said that. I think the Raiders showed how they felt about Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback, because their play calling was extremely conservative. When you have faith in your quarterback, a little bit of faith, I don't think the play calling would have been that conservative. That's why I wouldn't fire Luke Getsy. People talking about fire Luke Getsy.
We just talked about how they didn't have any wide receivers playing.
Our number one and 2 was hurt. I don't know, Coop, because I watch all the games, right? So I don't know that it was that different. I think Aiden has already won games with the team. I think he already had that respect. I think he's there. I personally just don't, you got to get it going, because that first drive, again, the first scripted drive, we're killing. Rolling down the field looking fantastic.
Just like last week.
But you got to start going off script. It starts getting ugly. So
okay, would you fire Luke Getsy? Because I wouldn't.
No.
Okay.
I think people are, this is how we do, right? 4 games in, it's not working for Luke Getsy. I'm like, bro, look at all the injuries, look at everything that's going on. Davante, which we'll talk about. I think all of this stuff counts into it. You know what I mean? I don't know if Aiden or Minshew is we know what Minshew is. Aiden could be or could not be. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but I think he's better than that.
So do you think that the Raiders are a team that's on the rise, on the way up? Because I don't think it's any juice around the team.
How could I possibly say that? Not right now.
All right.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, it's obvious right now. I think I have a bet with one of my coworkers. Shout out to Eric, like that we're going to the playoffs. I didn't know he was going to have 75 injuries and that no quarterback play. I mean, this is 40 year, right? So, but that happens to everybody. It's what it is. So I think, the trade at this point, I think makes sense. Just to kind of speak to that. I think Davante, if you're Davante, you come over there to play with Carr, McDaniels and them come in. I gotta say that the Patriots are very obsessed with the Raiders, because now Brady's part owner. Now, like we've had that. Richard Seymour's part owner. Shout out to Seymour. He did play for us.
It's the reverse, man. The Raiders are obsessed with the Patriots.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's the opposite.
There's 31 teams.
Yeah, but
Brady could have hopped in with another organization.
Sure, but you all could have hired some coaches from other people from other organizations.
Well, I will say that.
And you look right for takeover.
And McDaniels was hilarious. McDaniels was a sought after candidate. He had another job at the Colts, so I get that, whatever, and Ziegler and all that. But anyway, just funny enough, that's interesting. So the trade, I think, of course you could have traded him earlier, should have known this, but that doesn't even make sense. You have a new coach who's coming in, who's already had those talks with Davante, who says, I'm all in. All right, let's go and see. If you're a new coach trying to come into a situation, you already have Davante Adams, you at least try it. You don't say trade him first, let me get more picks like Gruden did trading Khalil Mack away. I always find it interesting when you trade a player hoping to draft a player like him and that it works out. I get the concept, but if you have the player there and I'm a new coach, I'm like, let me see what I got. He's in, we're in, we're going to see. Now gets hurt. We've been hearing every week, especially as a Raider, I read shout out to Mom. We read every single day about our teams. Most of us do. Every day is Davante's not happy, or is he happy, or how come he didn't get a pass, or why did he get a catch, or how come he didn't? I think it's great for both parties. Let Davante go back with his boy. I wish him the best. I wish Rodgers is still one of the premier throwers of the football, and for Davante Adams, who's a tactician with routes and likes that ball to be exactly where it needs to be, and also not to get cracked. Aaron Rodgers does it very well. They already have that timing. You watch old Davante clips, like the ball is right there. He's out of bounds. He's down. He's like. Rodgers protects his QBs, your older receiver. That's perfect. I think it's great for the Raiders because, like you said, we're right now in the down. Get you a pick, and now you got all these young guys who need to try and prove themselves, so they can try and get a second contract, so they could try and come up. That could go out there and play hard. AP can go out there and do his rah. You have guys that I think will rally around. We're gonna now have like over 100 million in cap space. I think I would sign Max Crosby right now to an extension. Before these numbers go up any higher, sign Malcolm Kuntz and then figure out what you're going to do there and just keep that core going, because Crosby's the face of the Raiders and he's the most important player on the entire roster. So,
Brian, what you feel about the Davante trade? I have my thoughts, but what do you feel?
Here's the thing. I mean, it obviously he needed to go. That situation just
100%.
obviously wasn't working. I guarantee you, the hamstring that was pulled the last 2 weeks that kept him out is feeling much better. I mean, he got there in a hurry. I don't know if you guys saw on ESPN today when
he got
they
there
were
last night.
interviewing Aaron Rodgers, and all of a sudden,
Of course I did. Yeah.
all of a sudden he popped on the screen, and he got there in a hurry. But my only issue with it is that I think the Raiders could have held out for just a little bit more. They got a 2025 conditional third round pick.
Yeah.
Conditional, but it's not the third round pick part. It's the conditional part. Obviously Davante Adams has a very, very high price tag. And so you weren't going to be able to get as much as you could if he had a cap friendly deal.
Yeah.
But a conditional third round pick is a little bit too submissive to me. But, in the end, they needed to make a trade. They made a trade that made sense to them, and it clearly made sense for the Jets. I'm going to love watching them go, 7-10 with Davante Adams and everybody
for 1 year, man.
For everyone to talk about, oh, this was the most brilliant idea because they're together, and the Jets. You want to talk about fraudulent teams? The Jets are all at the beginning before the season. Everyone was talking about it's 1 year. We're going to do stuff. It was a wrap.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked at it a little bit different when I saw the trade happen. It solidified to me that both players made a mistake leaving Green Bay. They had a nice setup there, and since they left, they really haven't accomplished anything since leaving. Aaron is pretty much getting, I think, Brian, you might agree, he's getting everything he wants with the New York Jets. Not saying it's going to work, but he's getting everything. He has his wide receiver now. He got
Nate Hackett, did work for him.
He had his other one, Lazard.
He has Lazard there.
Yeah, so it did work. He got full control.
He got Salah out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, last night they still lost
Salah
to
got
Buffalo.
Himself out too.
They ran the ball pretty well, though. I want to bet on that. But and they used a little bit of motion, but they still lost to Buffalo, who made a trade themselves by getting Amari Cooper.
That's a good pickup.
When you start 2-4 in the NFL, you have an 11% chance to make the playoffs. So and the Jets, I was looking at their schedule, Brian. I don't know if you saw, but they got Justin Fields coming up, Drake May. They got C.J. Stroud, Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, and whoever the Miami Dolphins is throwing out there, and Trevor Lawrence. So it could be some wins coming up for him. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think the trade was more wasn't just for personnel. Both of you guys. I don't think it was just for personnel for both sides. I think it was emotional. I think, I think it was emotional. I think they just had to get Adams out of there. He was unhappy. He's been unhappy from what I understand since before the damn season started. He was never, despite what he was saying publicly, he wasn't happy. And then, Aaron Rodgers sort of takes over the organization. Brian, you definitely know this. I'm not saying it's going to work, but he sort of takes over the organization. So it's kind of emotional trade. So we'll see what happens. But I'm with you, Brian. I don't expect much from the Jets.
No, I don't expect much of them. And I think at some point in time, we have to look at Aaron Rodgers holistically. He has been a coach killer. He had some great seasons early on. He's obviously got great accumulative stats, but we've seen plenty of times where players in this history get to a point where they're great before they've done greatness consistently, and then they get that moniker, and then they can do whatever they want. The coaches keep on falling by the wayside because of Aaron Rodgers. He's got Lazard and Davante Adams, which is the same players that he had at the end of his time at Green Bay before the trade, and he couldn't do anything with them there. The reality of it is at some point in time, people have to realize that he's a little bit more talk. Now, he had some really nice throws in that game. That Mike Williams, I don't know what the heck he was trying to catch with. I thought he had oven mitts on or something. But he's the one that's Garrett Wilson's going to be upset because it's clearly going to take him out of the spotlight because he favors Lazard and Adams is better than Wilson. But Mike Williams ain't going to see the field. He's not going to know what green grass feels like.
He's going to be on another team.
I would think so. I would have thought they would have done it, but they didn't.
Who could be another team?
Mike Williams.
Oh, yeah. The way you threw him under the bus.
Carolina or something.
He was 0 for 3 and had 2 huge drops in that game.
Yeah, it turns. Yeah, it's not gonna be good. So,
but the thing is, though, I don't know. Mahomes doesn't throw his receivers under the bus. Aaron Rodgers does that on a regular basis. Mahomes would just take the blame, even though it's not his fault.
Rodgers is not a good dude.
Yeah. So
he's never been one.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you guys. We don't have to talk about this game. It was New England and Houston. But CJ Stroud was making some throws, some accurate throws, some hard throws in that game. He was making some throws. I was like, oh, wow, that's a good throw.
Yeah, he could play, bro. And he's got his football mind. When you hear him talk, I rock with dude.
But history was made on the other side.
With Drake May?
Yeah. Yeah, first time that it was like, there's like, no, not first time, but the first time in a long time. But there's like 5 or 6 great players who have had 3 touchdowns in their first game. And what's funny it was, it's like it's literally his part of history is because of that. Nice. I think it was the end of the first quarter, and they had 19 yards of offense. Yeah. And I was like, this whole Drake May thing's going sideways quick. And then he woke up 243 yards, is legit, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but that's kind of what you expect young people in their first thing against a very good Houston team to do. But it'll be interesting to see if he can see some momentum. I mean, it's a hard place to start against the Houston Texans.
And let me add. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The one thing that I think we learned is they should have started him earlier. Jacoby Brissett never gave them a chance to win. And Drake May at least puts them in games or gives them a conversation.
Drake May had more touchdowns this game than Brissett had passed for 4 in 5 games. And you're right, Brian. That's what when I was researching or looking up everything, they said that they were going to lose the locker room if Brissett kept playing. They had to play Drake May. So they ended up playing him.
It's unfortunate that it took that to get him to do what they should have done. And that tells me a little bit. I'm actually rooting for Mayo. I hope it all works out for him. But he should have seen this. You know, I understand that they started the season with what they thought at the time was a big win against the Bengals, but I think they lived off that win for 2 games too long.
Yeah. I think it's smart though, because it's kind of like you said, everybody loves the backup. So if you put him straight out there, he struggles. It's worse. You put Brissett out there, then you bring in May. He gets to be the savior, and you can play it out.
I just think they could have got a win against the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the organization though didn't want to do it. It's the team.
No,
the team doesn't care about your 3-year timeline. They want to win now. And Drake May actually led the team in rushing too, but he took a lot of hits though. He took a lot of hits against that Houston defense. So I don't know how he's gonna hold up, but
I'm gonna move I'm gonna move us to this week and just throw out some games. Basically, I'm just looking at winning records and then our teams.
You talk about next week?
Before we go there, let's talk about the other 2 trades real quickly.
Yeah,
because I thought it was absolutely almost as interesting as the Davante Adams trades for Amari Cooper to get traded right after and go Bills, to Buffalo. So both the teams that played on Monday night got new star receivers.
Yep.
Amari Cooper to Buffalo and Adams to the Jets. And I actually think that the Amari Cooper trade is impactful right now this year because I think Josh Allen really needed somebody who could be a deep threat that he could get, which he did with Diggs. And I think you can do that with Amari Cooper. So I actually think that trade is impactful.
Yeah. I wholeheartly agree with everything you just said.
Fresh win. Yeah.
Yeah. He's playing with a Browns team, man. Think about it. They haven't gained 300 yards or scored more than 18 points in the game this entire season. It's like that's the first team in 20 years to do something like that. He had to get off that team. Josh Allen can definitely lose Amari Cooper. And I'm with you. I think it's more impactful than Davante going to the Jets. I'm with you on that one.
And then the only thing I guess we could talk about in a minute otherwise is Cam Akers going to Minnesota.
I didn't know
Pierce getting healthy and now being able to shoulder some of that load. They got rid of Cam Akers, who went to Kevin O'Connell's team because they used to play together in Los Angeles, which is likely to have Myles Gaskin get cut. But I'm worried that it might say something about Aaron Jones. Everything about Aaron Jones has said that he's going to play and play soon. But when you go get someone like Cam Akers, maybe it's just opportunity knocked and they answered. Yeah. But until I see Aaron Jones, hopefully this weekend out on the field, I'll be a little bit worried about it.
Having two strong backs is a big deal.
Yeah, you can never have enough skill position players. I'm surprised. So I guess you guys did not watch that Jacksonville-Chicago game. I was actually up to watch that game. Caleb is playing better. Caleb is playing better.
I saw his stats were pretty nice, but
week by week, Caleb is playing better. And I think the Jacksonville coach just got himself fired from what he said in his little post-game presser.
They look terrible.
Jacksonville's bad. Trevor Lawrence was only pressured once the previous week against Indianapolis. Chicago was on him this game. I mean, the Bears defense is no joke. And Peterson, just real quick, he said when they asked him about, teams play or whatever, he pretty much said that his locker his team pretty much quit, and that pretty much falls on the coach. So I think he just got himself fired by the end of the year, Doug Peterson. But yeah, props to Chicago. They play well. They play well in England.
All right, Jay. Sorry, Glenn, go for it.
All right, let's do it. So we're just going off winning records in our teams. So you got the Texans at the Packers.
Oh, who you got? Who you got, Brian?
Yeah, it's a great game. You got two young superstars in Love and Stroud playing each other. Young, soon to be. I don't know that they're necessarily superstars yet. Because it's, you know what? No, I just flip flopped. I'm going to go with the Texans. I was going to say because it's at home in Green Bay, but it's not that time of year yet where that makes the impact. That has the impact that it's going to. I think Stroud can play in interesting places, and I think Stroud, that team has a better one. Green Bay is favored by 2.5. Give me the 2.5 points, and I'll take Texans.
Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay to win and cover. They'll be able to run against Houston. I don't think Houston will be able to run against Green Bay. I think Green Bay has a better overall roster that's going to carry them to victory, and they're at home. Houston is they're not bad. They're not as good as last year, though. They're living off of last year. People are thinking they're not as good as last year. They're still a good team, though, but I'm taking Green Bay in this one.
Still 5-1. Seahawks at the Falcons. Both 3-3 versus 4-2. Seahawks at the Falcons.
Oh, I guess I'll start with this one. I really don't like the Falcons. The way they've been playing, they've been kind of eking out victories, but Seattle isn't any good. But it's hard, Brian. On the spread, I will take Seattle to win, and I will take Seattle to cover. Actually, I'm gonna take Seattle on the road on this one.
Okay, give me the Falcons. 28th pass defense, and they're not playing on prime time. So this is a Cousins type stat game where for the next 5 weeks. They'll be like, but remember the game he had 350 yards and 2 touchdowns?
They won that Thursday night game. He was chucking that thing too. So maybe that's gone. All right.
Give me the Falcons.
Like it. Lions at Vikings. 4-1 Lions at the 5-0 Vikings.
Ooh, I'm gonna go first before Brian goes. I am taking the Vikings off a bye week. Detroit is on a high right now after beating Dallas.
They lost a big part of that team though.
They lost Aiden Hutchinson. Man, there's only a 1 point spread right now, or 2. It's actually went up to 2 now, 2.5 at some places. I'm taking the Vikings to win this one and stay undefeated and go 6-0.
I'm not going to pick against my team until I need to. So, I'm going to take the Vikings. This game worries me to no end. The Lions have played exceptionally well on both sides of the ball. Yes, that was heavily aided by Hutchinson. Pun intended. And I do think this is going to be a good game. That being said, Goff has problems when people put pressure on him, and the Vikings have the best defense for putting pressure on the quarterback in the league. They average, I think, over 5 sacks a game. They hit hard, but they're not dirty. And so I think that this is a game that they have the discipline to ride out. I think that the real part of this game is not the Vikings offense versus the defense. I think it is the defense versus the very high-powered Lions offense. And I think that Brian Flores and the defense, I'm going to have faith in them and say that they can get it done.
All right. I got to do it because it's my team. The 2-4 Raiders at the 1-4 Rams.
This game's an enigma. The Rams are favored by 7 points, but they only have 1 win.
Right. So who you taking? So who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Rams.
To cover and win?
What's the spread?
7.
Yes.
No, I am too. I can't take the Raiders right now.
I can't. And this is not about the records. This is about not having the players to be able to mount the offense needed. This is not. Yeah. This is not a.
No, it's fine.
It's not a knock.
Raider thing. This is just they're in a bad place right now.
Yeah, it's the state of the teams right now.
Right now.
If I was playing Madden, I'd take myself, but in this game, I don't know. I'm not betting against my team. Like Brian said, Raiders win 10-7. Chiefs at the 49ers, the 5-0 Chiefs at the 3-3 49ers in Santa Clara, and it's not going to be 700 degrees.
Yeah, if this game was hard, but now it's not hard. And the reason why it's not hard is because I just don't think this game means as much to Kansas City as it does to the 49ers. I think the Kansas City can just lose this game. And they'll know if they play the 49ers Super Bowl that they are the better team and, could beat them again for a third time. So the Niners really want to win this game from what I've been reading.
They better.
I think the line is set up for people to take Kansas City because they're getting a point. And I think a lot of people will jump on that, feeling that Kansas City is a better team, being that what happened in the Super Bowl this past year. So the only reason I'm taking the 49ers is for motivational and emotional purposes. I really don't think Kansas City is going to just be all up for this game like people think. I don't see what they have to gain by winning another game against the 49ers when they usually beat the 49ers when it actually matters, which is in the Super Bowl. So I'm taking the 49ers this game.
Beat.
I'm going to take Kansas City. We all know the reasons why.
Fair. Yeah, they figure out how to win.
Yeah. And let's just be honest. Shanahan has not figured out how to beat Steve Spagnuolo. He just hasn't figured that out. So 49ers lose. I don't think anybody will be, so any 49er fan will be surprised.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, like you said, for the Chiefs, because for the Niners, because they have to win. If the Chiefs lose, it's like, oh yeah, that's a good team, cool,
right. It's like self-confidence and everything like that. You know what I mean? Just some games they just have to win. Even if it's regular season.
Chiefs lose a couple in the middle of the season anyway. It's not even a big
deal. Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's not even a big deal. That's a good one. No. Last one is the Ravens at Buccaneers Monday night, 5:15. 4-2 Ravens at the 4-2 Bucks.
This is a good one. I am taking the Bucks on the point spread plus the 3.5. I think that Baker Mayfield's been playing really, really good. He's really in sync with the offense coordinator, Liam Cohen. Baltimore's defense has some leaks back there. The Todd Bowles just has to focus on trying to rein in the running game of Baltimore, but I think Tampa Bay will be able to score some points, and I'm taking them to win and cover this game.
If I could be the coach for a moment, obviously, what I would do is ball control. I'd run as much as humanly possible and not give Baker Mayfield the opportunity to get hot. Because if he does, they could win this game. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to assume that they're smart enough to realize that when you've got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson there, that you can play a ball control offense and control the tempo of the game and find a way to win ugly. And therefore I think Baltimore has a better shot in that game. I'm going to assume that they can figure that out if I can.
Now, I think we should talk about one more game. We should make a pick because it's just got interesting now because of the trades. The Jets at Pittsburgh. It got interesting now. Jets are favored on the road now by 1.5 at Pittsburgh.
I saw it, but I was just like, it's still Russell Wilson and the Jets are trash. That's why.
So Wilson is starting, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not consideration.
No, he's starting.
Yeah, he's starting.
He's starting.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Give me Pittsburgh, assuming that Russell Wilson is starting.
I'm taking the Jets because Russell Wilson is starting.
I love it.
Yeah, like you said earlier.
I love it.
Take him. All right, cool.
Ain't mad at it. All right, guys, that was pretty good. Quick hitters. Last couple segments. Hogwash. Man. Yeah, what Brian's segment, man. I don't know if y'all got one, but go for it.
You ain't got one? Okay, well, I guess I'll start. This happened during the 49er game. It was a punt. The ball grazed the Seattle punt returner's finger, and the 49ers recovered the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The officials did not see it. They didn't see it. Then they gave the ball back. They gave it to Seattle. The 49ers challenged the call. Seattle kept the ball. I'm not saying it because the 49ers got screwed or anything like that. But the reason why this is hogwash is because they talked to some, you usually have a referee guy in the booth who's pretty much useless because he can't affect the game either way, but they usually have him in there to talk over stuff. And he was saying that the replay officials did not have the same view that we have at home. And that's why it's hogwash. You cannot have a multi-billion-dollar sport and you can't get the same replay that everybody at home gets. You get a different replay. You have to do better than that. This almost sounds like baseball like. That's why it's hogwash. You have this sport, everybody's watching, you got to get replay right. It was clear that it hit the guy's fingers. It should have been the 49ers ball. I'm not saying it because I'm a 49er fan. I'm saying it should happen to anybody. You have to get replay right. I mean, it was clear to everybody at home the 49ers should have had the ball. So that's hogwash for NFL's instant replay. You got to do better.
Fair. B?
I really don't have one this week. I actually wrote down a few of them. I guess the only thing that I'll say is hogwash is Davante Adams kind of talking out both sides of his mouth, talking about how he's all in, and then a mysterious injury, and nobody seems to be thinking that that there's any chance that he's still injured this week against Pittsburgh.
Not even
be a little bit more forthcoming about what your intentions are.
Not even mad. I'm watching Rodgers and Davante highlights of the Packers right now.
That's hella funny. And then back
This
shoulder
is years
fade.
ago. Yeah, it's years ago because he ain't even
Yeah.
got no hair. So we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting.
That's hella funny.
I don't even have one, man. We'll keep rolling on. Minute to win it. Dang, I had one. There was I can't remember what school it was. So I'm not even gonna say it because I don't have the thing. Just thanks everybody for listening, being Coop. I appreciate you guys, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. I forgot my minute to win it, to be honest with you. So I'll have to just save it for next time. Oh, but I do want to thank everybody for listening. And especially those of you who rocked with us when it was just me and B. Thank you for that as well. Thank you for that support.
Yep. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments, your notes.
We
Appreciate
tried.
you all.
Yep.
Y'all did good.
We modulated each other better than we modulated.
That part,
bro. I
that
saw
part.
y'all.
Yes.
Y'all had,
We're like,
y'all,
oh, sir,
Yeah.
there you go. Would you like to go, sir?
That part.
So, I'll take this up for my minute to win it too. So it's unfortunate. I think that Darnold should absolutely be considered for comeback player of the year. His career was written for dead, but with a new change for how they'll vote or want people to vote for a comeback player of the year, he is ineligible because you have to come back from an injury or major of a life event in order to be eligible for the comeback player of the year. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. That was what I was going to say for my Hogwash segment, which I forgot. It is truly sad. They don't have a most improved player in the NFL, and if they want to go this way with the comeback player, then maybe they should add a most improved player, because I certainly think, regardless of what I think of him as a quarterback for the future and everything else, that he deserves some acknowledgement for what he has done to lead a team that many picked to be the last place team in the division to a 5-0 record, and has played for most of the weeks exceptionally well. There's one week where he didn't play great, but absolutely deserves some acknowledgement, and he's not eligible for comeback player of the year anymore.
Agreed.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, I was about to say they should have a most improved player because he didn't play last year or 2 years. He didn't play.
Yeah, he
So,
looked fantastic. Well said.
It looks like he came back to me. I haven't seen him play in 3 years, right?
Right,
So,
fantastic.
3 years.
Word up. Well, that's our show. It's October 15th, 2024. This is Sports Counterpoints podcast. We'll check you all next time.